Good evening and welcome to Story Hour. I'm tonight's host, Laura Blackwell. My co-host, the delightful and charming Daniel Marcus, started Story Hour about 3 years ago so that people would have something to do and stories. So here we are every Wednesday ever since. We'd also like to thank the SFWA, the Science Fiction Fantasy Writers Association, for the Givers Grant, which is helping us, keep electricity and stuff. Thank you very much, Sifwa. Thank you to those of you joining us for the first time and to those of you familiar faces. Hello. As always, we have two fabulous writers reading for favored nonprofits. Tonight's readers are Jennifer Hudak and Isabel J. Kim. If you can, please consider donating to tonight's featured nonprofits, Willow Domestic Violence Center and Planned Parenthood. Jennifer Hudak is reading for Willow Domestic Violence Center. Willow Center is the only New York State certified domestic violence service provider serving Monroe County, New York, an entire county and only one. Services include emergency shelter, a 24/7 hotline, safety planning, court accompaniment, and prevention education. Willow Center's vision is a community free from domestic violence where healthy relationships thrive. You can learn more at willowcenterny.org. Isabel J. Kim is reading for Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood delivers vital reproductive health care, sex education, and information to millions of people worldwide. Honestly, even the website is really good. With the Planned Parenthood Direct app, you can gain unlimited access to expert doctors and nurses and can even get birth control pills delivered. You can learn more at plannedparenthood.org. Those of you here on Zoom, feel free to leave your camera on. You are lovely. It can be nice for us to see faces reacting to the stories, and chime in on the text chat if you like. If you're joining us on Facebook, thank you. We're glad you're here, and sorry that we're not monitoring that chat very actively. We're sure that you're being very clever, though. Our first reader tonight is Jennifer Hudak. Jennifer Hudak is a speculative fiction writer fueled mostly by tea. Her work has appeared in both the Locus magazine and the Sifwa recommended reading lists, and she has been twice nominated for a Pushcart Prize. That's very literary, I approve. Originally from Boston, she now lives with her family in upstate New York, where she teaches yoga, knits pocket-sized animals, and misses the ocean. You can find her online on her website, jenniferhudackwrites.com, or on Twitter at HudakWrites. Jennifer, welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. It's so fun to be here.
It is our pleasure. We're so glad you came back. What have you got for us tonight?
So I'm going to be reading a story that came out last year in Fusion Fragment. This story is called The Topography of Memory, and I wanted to just give one little content note. The story refers to the death of a loved one, not on the page, but just putting that out there. I also want to put in a plug for Fusion Fragment, which is a fantastic magazine. It's beautiful and really cool. Okay, so this is The Topography of Memory. You try to go home, but your town is missing. It's not as if there's a crater in the ground where your town used to be, or a transparent dome keeping the town in and everything else out. It's not that dramatic. It's just not there. You take the roads you've taken hundreds of times before, but they all veer off in unexpected directions. Sometimes they spit you right back out onto the expressway, like a video game returning you to a save point. But usually you're not that lucky. Usually you wind up in a strip mall parking lot, or in a kombucha and juice bar drive-through, or at an office building with sterile lobbies and slow elevators and fake plants pushed against a fountain full of pennies. It's possible that you've simply forgotten the way. After all, you haven't been there in years. not for a single reunion or family Thanksgiving or wedding, not for anything in so, so long. And you begin to wonder if you were ever there at all, or if you invented it. Maybe you never put stickers on the back of your bedroom door or scribbled your name inside the closet. Maybe you didn't scrape shallow holes in the backyard. And maybe you didn't bury spongy moths alive in those holes that one summer when spongy moths were everywhere, crawling on every tree, eating all the leaves down to the veins. Maybe you were always the age you are right now. But you know that's not true. You did all those things. If you were making up a life for yourself, this would never be the one you'd invent. You find yourself on a suburban street, identical houses lined up like teeth, sprinklers out front drenching pesticide poison lawns, and you pull over to the side of the road. You open your glove box and rifle through a collection of takeout napkins and plastic-wrapped disposable cutlery. At some point, you lost your taste for the local delicacies you grew up eating. You lost your accent. You lost your town. You search your car desperately for old photos, a friend's address scrawled on a piece of scrap paper, a single solitary artifact of your life. And then, among the tangle of thoughts and receipts and used grocery bags, you find a building. It's the bowling alley where your father used to take you when your mom needed some time alone. You'd forgotten it. You can't believe you'd forgotten it. But now you hear the roll and knock of the balls, feel the slickness of the floor, the weight of the ball as you swing it two-handed between your legs and then let it go down along the arrows painted on the lanes. The timbre of your father's voice cheering every time you knock down a single pin. He let you buy one treat from the vending machines, and you got chuckles every time. 5 gumdrops lined up in a row on a cardboard sleeve, covered in a crinkly cellophane wrapper. It's a moment, divorced from context, but it's sharp and clear. The outside of the candy, crunchy with sugar crystals, the chewy inside that sticks to your teeth, the sound of the balls rolling and striking, the cigarette smell of the alley, the rented shoes on your feet, and the coins in your hand, and the candy you love best. The door to the alley opens, and 2 things come inside. One is a gust of air, cool and smelling of elsewhere, smelling of now. The second thing that comes inside is your father. You look behind yourself where your father is sitting with a styrofoam cup of coffee, reading the newspaper, and waiting for you to return with your candy. And then you look at the man who just walked through the door. Still your father, but grayer and thicker around the middle. His feet trudge across the garish alley carpet as if he's weighed down by years, by memory, by life. And just like that, you are too. Older, grayer, weighed down. You have to come home, he says. You shake your head. You haven't been home in years, you remind yourself. Not for birthdays or reunions or holidays, not even for funerals, not even for the funeral. Your father, in a charcoal gray suit and uncomfortable black shoes, black yarmulke, red, deeply shadowed eyes behind his glasses. I can't come home, you whisper. Please, he whispers back. No, I mean, I can't, your voice breaks. I can't find it. It's missing. Behind you, a young girl rejoins her father. Full of sugar-fueled energy, she dances around in her stiff rented shoes. Next to her, copying each of her wild flailing steps, a small boy clutching a chocolate bar. His shoelaces flap, and you know an instant before it happens that he'll trip on them and fall forward, cutting his lip and smearing chocolate all over the carpet. His cry makes your father, both of your fathers, wince. But the little girl continues dancing. She won't feel guilty about this until years, decades, miles have passed. Your father rests a hand on your shoulder. It's the same hand that taught you to bowl, the same hand that pressed coins into your palm so that you could buy gumdrops. But it's also different. I'll take you, he says. Traveling with him in his car, the streets lie down like they're supposed to. Straight along the expressway, past familiar landmarks, exits counting down in strict numerical order. Your father takes the exit you swear you tried to take dozens of times before, but now it curves around, just like you remember it. Like your father's hand, the town has grown and changed without you. Restaurants you used to love have closed, and new ones have opened. Congestion clogs once quiet streets. Your old elementary school looks strange without the row of tractor tires half buried in the ground, a 1970s low-cost playground alternative. You remember climbing those tires and standing triumphant at the top. You remember the boy who cried at the bottom because he was too small to follow you, and because you refused to help him up. You remember exactly why you left and why you stayed away. All the parts of yourself that you hate the most are still here. The cemetery is quiet. Just a small cluster of people stand next to the tombstone. 10 people, including your parents. Even if you hadn't come, there would have been just enough for a minion, which means your parents planned for your absence. You feel like an intruder breaking into the circle of mourners. You have no right to be here. Your mother sees you and peels away from the group. You wondered the entire drive if she'd speak to you. But when you see her, you speak first. I'm sorry. You should have been here, she says. Her words sound rehearsed. For the funeral, even if you don't care about him. Mom, you should have been here for us. We needed you. I couldn't find the town, you say, aware of how ridiculous the excuse sounds. It was missing. Well, her eyes dart to the tombstone, which is wrapped in a white veil. You're here now. And you are. Here. Now. Even though you're not dressed for an unveiling. Even though you don't recognize the other mourners. Even though the rabbi, who's not much older than you, speaks about your brother as if she knew him better than you did, and you suspect she did. You still can't trace the route in your mind that leads from then to now. From the girl in the bowling alley to the one that stands in front of her brother's grave, a year after he was buried, finally saying goodbye. You still couldn't make this drive by yourself. But being here now makes you remember all the things you worked so hard to forget. How his hair fell in clumps onto his plate during mealtimes, and how he ate around the tufts without complaining. The tubes that snaked into his arms, and the grayness of his skin against the hospital sheets. The time you woke up in the middle of the night to find your mother crying in the corner of the room, and how you pretended you were still sleeping until she left. The last time you saw him, the sores in his mouth made it painful, physically painful, for him to say goodbye to you. But he said goodbye to you anyway. The rabbi removes the veil from the tombstone to reveal your brother's name etched in stone. When she recites the mourner's Kaddish, you join her. The Hebrew words, familiar in your mouth, somehow unforgotten, trace a line back through the years. to other cemeteries and other services and temples, to other lives before your own. They draw an outline of your family tree and of you and your brother sharing a branch, the way you shared the bench seat of your father's car, vinyl sticking to the backs of your thighs. You were a terrible sister and a terrible daughter, and there's no distance far enough to change that fact. But the words remain. The line they trace continues, and your journey isn't over yet. After the unison Amen, you stand back to appreciate what the prayer has drawn. It's more than a single line, more than a tree. It's a map constructed with topographic layers of memory and understanding. Together, the layers create a rugged terrain full of sugar cereals and reheated deli knishes, broken crayons and missing puzzle pieces, taped up magazine pictures, and the sunset you watched from your bedroom window, full of a longing you could not name. Your father folds up the map and holds it out to you, so you'll be able to find your way back. I can't promise anything, you say, and he just nods and hands you the map anyway. It feels heavier than a map ought to, but that seems right to you. A map like this shouldn't be light. It should be a weight that takes effort to carry. Before you leave, you pick up a pebble and place it on your brother's tombstone. I was here, the pebble says. By tomorrow, the pebble will have been blown to the ground, or washed away by rain, or nudged aside by a bird's foot. Maybe a small boy with untied shoes and chocolate-smeared fingers will take it and put it in his pocket. If you ever come back, you'll replace the pebble with another one. Your father offers to drive you back, but your car has followed you here and has parked itself near the cemetery entrance. You let your parents go back to the other mourners and to the rabbi. You see yourself out. You slide the map into your glove box, and after a moment's thought, you pick up a pebble from the side of the road and place it on top of the map. Then you drive to a gas station where you buy yourself a cup of coffee and a pack of chuckles. You pop the red one into your mouth like a hard candy, sucking all the sugar off, just like you used to. It rubs against the roof of your mouth, painful and sweet at the same time, like all memories are. The weight of the map tilts your car slightly, an invisible passenger sitting beside you, watching your car trace the outlines of the world. You won't unfold it for a long time. Maybe it will have faded by the time you pull it out, and when you unfold it, it will rip along the creases. Maybe it will stay in your glove box forever. The pebble rolls back and forth in your glove box each time you turn the steering wheel, and it sounds like a prayer. Like small feet in rented shoes dancing on a slick, shiny lane. Like a distant voice calling you home. Maybe, someday, you'll even let it lead you there. Maybe you'll try. No promises. Thank you.
That was lovely. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you.
In between our two readers, we like to take a moment, let the first story soak in. Thank you. That was Jennifer Hudak. And our next reader tonight is Isabel J. Kim. Isabel J. Kim is a Korean-American speculative fiction writer based in New York City. She is a Shirley Jackson Award winner, and her short fiction has been published in Clarkesworld, Lightspeed, Strange Horizons, and Strange Horizons, among other venues. I can read, honest. When she's not writing, she's either practicing law or co-hosting her internet culture podcast, Wow If True, both equally noble pursuits. Find her at isabel.kim or at Isabel J. Kim on Twitter. Isabel, welcome back.
Hi, great to be back. I'm going to change the vibe so immensely.
We love that.
Okay, I guess I should just start. Take it away. Okay, this
Launch.
is launch. All right, this is the narrative implications of your untimely death, which was originally published in Lightspeed earlier this year. I'm gonna got all my podcasting equipment. I will try my best. All right. Your deathless heart spasms. Once, twice, you suck in a long rattling gasp and twist over the decanting table, great hacking coughs. Someone thumps your back. Welcome back, boyo, media and talent production coordinator Kane says. They got some great footage out of your deaths. Viewership tripled for the episode. Damn, you wheeze. Any chance I'm out? Goosebumps pimple across your cold skin. You're so sick of the talent decanting room. You hope for finales. You hope for your exit stage left. Nah, Kane says, you're polling too well within the 16 to 24 demographic. The execs want to keep you in the cast roster. Assholes, you say with feeling, lying back down. Chin up, Kane says. Least you're back from the dead, King Killer. You know I hate that name, you say, staring up at the operating lights. The decanting fluid is drying to a tacky shell on your skin. Well, shouldn't have killed Rally then. Yeah, well, you say. You wish you hadn't killed Rally King either. Rally King was Axial Conglomerate's sweetheart, Red Render's knight in shining armor. You'd watched him sweat in high definition all through season 27's desert sequence, his sword gleaming in the sunlight. You'd watch him cry, too, big tears rolling down his cheeks whenever someone died and he couldn't save them. At the time, you'd rolled your eyes. Audiences love sentiment, so of course Rally would cry. The drones are always watching, cutting, streaming the tastiest morsels of Red Render for everyone at home. He's faking it. It's acting. You know better now, after 8 seasons as a cast member on Red Render. The show gets inside your head. You can think you're going to treat it like a game all through the psychological profiling of the camera tests. You can tell yourself it's just reality television while signing away the rights to your DNA samples and signing a contract that agrees that termination is at the studio's discretion. You can pretend it's all fake until you're shipping down to Red Render, and then it's not a game anymore, it's your life. It turns out that even if death is cheap in Red Render, it still hurts to bleed out. It turns out that the stupid war game isn't just a series of artificial quests, it's backstabbing and making pacts and persuading people to come die with you. It turns out that the other cast members have also lived the same sort of desperate life that drives people to the promise of a 16 billion credit trophy, if you can find it on the stupid rock. Never mind that no one's found it yet. And it turns out that the Golden Boy Rally is just as nice as he seems on camera, and then you kill him. He thanked you while he was dying. You hope he's having a good time, Space Side. You wonder if he ever watches the show. You reintegrate into the storyline 12 hours after waking up in the talent decanting room. It was a nice break. You took a high-pressure shower, slept in a real bed, shot the shit with Kane, and siphoned some of his insider info. You get a good tip about the Amaba Basin's layout. Kane might be a corporate bastard, but he's a congenial one. He's congenial all the way down through herding you into a skiff and flying you down near camp, kicking you out with a cheerful, don't fall off any more cliffs, as he drops you back in the narrative. Not a minute later, a low whine starts to reverberate in the air. Drone cameras have a distinct sound. The privacy was nice while it lasted. You do your best to look brooding instead of sweaty as you walk back to camp. Red Render is a beautiful planetoid. It's a great stage set for the game of the century, TM. A great place to create alliances, betray your friends, and find the galaxy's most valuable prize. Red Render is supposed to be an action-adventure survival reality show. In practice, people mostly watch it for the interpersonal drama. Red Render is a shifting mess of temporary alliances for the sake of plundering supplies and maps. King Killer's back, low recalls from the camp's watchtower, and the announcement is met with a couple of whoops. Aw, the kids missed you. They're new enough not to be scared by your reputation. King Killer is a name to them, not a definition. Guess they never watched before season 34. You're allied with 10 others at the camp, all scouring the Amaba Basin for the next map scrap. It's not a bad crew. 2/3 freshers, 1/3 veterans. The gate's open for your entrance. Thought you were dead, Mark calls from where he's poking at a fire. He scowls at you. He's a vet. He remembers how you received your nickname. You wish, you call back, heading to the main building built out from the microprinted pseudo ruins. Other cast members give you nods as you walk by. You receive commiserating glances and winces, but no one's willing to break character and say, sorry you didn't get out, Jamie. You don't blame them. These guys are always scraping for screen time. You're the weirdo getting followed around by 4 drones and trying your best to die. You haven't been subtle about wanting to get out. You dream of your old micro apartment. You dream of working showers. You dream of clean death. Anything, as long as it looks accidental. The execs don't resurrect you from suicide. Axial conglomerate, standard media, and entertainment sector laws prevent the glorification of self-harm in T13 class media. You hope your gear hasn't been redistributed yet. You head for the main building and then make the executive decision to detour through the mess before checking out your clothes and weapons. The door to the mess swings open. You step in and then stop. There are 2 figures sitting with cups of coffee, half-eaten plates of food. They both look up. Only one of them smiles apologetically at you. Only one of them would publicly call you a friend. Shit, sorry, Jamie, I should have warned you about this, Ava says. He just showed. It's fine, you cut in numbly, because it's not fine, but you're used to acting. Ava's still after the prize money. You can't break character if she's around. You can hear the drone whining behind your head. Look who's back, huh? Jamie, Rowley says, turning toward you, standing, the handsome bulk of him very protagonistic. You thought you could kill me, didn't you? His voice is steady. He was always a better actor than you were. I did kill you, you say. Just thought it would stick. Rowley strides forward, all the way into your personal space, grabs your shoulder tightly, and smiles with all his teeth. We've got some talking to do. The audience must be loving this. You let Rowley drag you back to your bedroom. You sit on the bed. Rowley sits on a stool made out of a couple of ammunition crates. Both of you ignore the mess of clothing and knives on the floor. The hum of the cameras around the 2 of you is loud. You wonder how many of the nanometer-sized drones are around, capturing multiple angles, close-ups, and cutting from your face to Rowley's and back again. I see the note. I cannot stress. I just talk this fast. There's a whole conversation you should be having that you couldn't have spoken in the mess hall. Rowley's face is stoic. You give the world's most minuscule shrug. There's no one else in your bedroom. There's no one else's career to ruin here. Rowley's whole posture shifts. He smiles. It's a small thing, only the barest flash of teeth. Hey, Jamie. Shit, Rowley, you say, relaxing against the headboard. I thought you got out. The drone's whining immediately cuts. Breaking the 4th wall isn't good television. Rowley's smile pulls bitter. Nope, I woke up on the slab a week ago and they shipped me back down after Kane told me where your camp was and that you were being reintegrated soon. I think the execs expected me to try and turn the camp against you. Understandable, you say with a wince. Rowley's death had been bloody. You both thought that something graphic would be your best chance at getting off planetoid. I appreciate that you didn't. Rowley shrugs. You stare at him. He looks just the same as the day you killed him. A little rough, you all look a little rough, but there aren't any new lines on his face or any sign that you'd ever fought him at the Alacrit Cliffs and thrown him off the waterfall overlook. Same as how there's no sign on your skin detailing how Rowley had grabbed your shirt and brought you plunging soundlessly into the water with him, bashing you against the rocks. You bet the shots were beautiful. You had choreographed them to be. The fight at the Alacrit Cliffs was the narrative crux of both of your arcs. Rowley's last stand against the anti-hero upstart, your desperate attempt at overthrowing the Golden Boy's throne. You thought that this would be a narratively satisfying enough ending to end both your storylines. You built a beautiful enmity with him over the 5 seasons you shared. Mostly you know Rowley through his acted anger, through his feigned violence. Despite everything, you're glad to see him now. It's been 3 seasons, man, you say. What the fuck are they playing at? I thought for sure they'd be done with you, that you got out. I don't know, Rowley says, putting his head in his hands. I was talking with Kane, got a copy of my contract, and he helpfully pointed out that there weren't any dates in the termination clause. I think the execs think there hasn't been enough drama this season. They're probably trying to stir the pot a little, bring back what Kane called our epic rivalry. Motherfucker didn't tell me anything about that, you say. So what's our play? Rowley looks up. Do we have a play? Of course we have a play, you say with confidence you don't feel. All right, Jamie, Rowley says. He sounds tired. Resurrected a week and tired already. That's no good for the cameras. I'll follow your lead. You hum thoughtfully. Rowley's good at playing determined. at emanating generalized righteousness, at keeping a crew together. Raleigh remembers you as a villain, but you've been playing nice ever since he died, so your classic good guy, bad guy thing won't hold. We'll do a reconciliation arc, you say firmly, calculating storylines and scraping together what you remember of the season before Raleigh's death. I've been doing a redemption thing after my near miss. I've been trying to get cut by being boring, except that's not working. And Kane told me that I keep pulling crazy high. So maybe we play it like you don't believe my face heel turn, but I'm still trying to befriend you and you're trying to keep an eye on me and then I try and save you from something, but we both eat shit again while having some sort of emotional conclusion. I can do suspicious, Raleigh says. Also, King Killer? Really? I didn't choose it, you protest. Just use my actual name, all right? Sure, King Killer, Raleigh says, because he's the sort of guy who thinks that's funny. What's our time frame? You think for a bit. End of the season, you say. We'll build our story up till the end of the season and execute. No breaking kayfabe until we're alone, just to be fair to the rest of the cast. Day-to-day livelihood on Red Render isn't glamorous. It's a big stage set full of fun murder props and bullshit mythology, but people still have to eat. You take your kitchen shifts and your patrol duty between the strategy sessions and scouting missions. Your crew maps the entirety of the Amaba Basin and plunders it through a few of the lesser sites, comes back with some maps and once a couple of old bottles of liquor, which the crew cheers about. You're significantly less excited. The planetoid is lousy with alcoholic dead drops. A tipsy cast is a fun cast. The whine of the camera drones is loud that night. You angle your way through the party by drunkenly picking a fight with Raleigh, adding a little texture to your slowly repairing relationship. Raleigh rises to the occasion admirably, chewing the scenery and saying some very hurtful things about your moral character, ending with calling you a reckless, suicidal maniac who's going to get all of us killed, which is correct enough to make you laugh. It's fun to have a co-conspirator again. You and Raleigh knit the story of your grudging friendship by inches. You don't spend a lot of time alone together. That's the last thing you need to be suspected of hiding something, but it's an easy story to sell. You play the reformed asshole trying to prove he's changed. Raleigh plays the slightly traumatized hero coming to terms with a world that has changed around him. You go on mission runs together. You argue about locations of potential map fragments. You spend a long afternoon repairing the camp roof together and talk around your attempted murder. You ask for forgiveness. Raleigh doesn't give it to you because it's too early in the narrative for that. You leave all your conversations unfinished, the scaffolding to your hopefully narratively satisfying death. The spider web you've woven finally gets a tug when you're sitting around the war table with the other veterans arguing about the approach to the Fairy Cathedral ruins. It's the last piece of the Amaba Basin map that you haven't charted. None of the other ruins have yielded anything useful, so this site's definitely going to have something big and dangerous. A blood key, a gene-edited guardian beast, a classic laser grid that you'll accidentally trigger. Deadly stuff, high stakes, great television, unlike this planning session, which devolved immediately into quibbling. I'll go. You glance up at the map at Raleigh, handing him the relay baton. Will go, Raleigh says, frowning at you and taking the metaphorical baton from your hand. You don't trust me, you say, tossing the layup to Raleigh. As far as I can throw you, Raleigh says, completing your pass. You tried to kill me once. A guy doesn't forget things like that. I succeeded, you say, with all the grandiose megalomania you can shove into your voice. You'll succeed this time, at least. The drone camera whine is almost sweet in your ears. You set off early the next morning with Raleigh in a beat-up little skimmer carting a bunch of supplies. The others are in the newer skimmer, and you didn't argue too much about pulling the short stick because now it's just you and Raleigh trundling along, filmed by at least 4 camera drones. You bet the audience wants you to argue, or fight, or kiss. That last one would really spike the ratings, and then you'd never be free. So you ready to get out? You say. Before you even finish your question, the whine cuts out. Sorry, audience, you're dreaming of space shuttles. You're dreaming of watching television and not participating. Raleigh makes an indiscriminate noise. You glance at him. You pulling out? You say. Don't get cold feet on me. No, I'm in, Raleigh assures you. You did a great job this season. You're a really annoying guy when you want to be, you know that? And you're a self-righteous prick, you say. Nice touch last month with accusing me of having altered all the maps. I try. The skimmer slides down a long plane of brown grass, shivering in the wind. The ruins of Fairy Cathedral look like a crumbling slice of unfrosted cake from this distance. You feel the tightness in your shoulders unwinding. The skimmer is going fast enough that the camera drones won't be able to catch up with you. Soon there won't be any camera drones at all. Jamie, Raleigh says, after what they did to me, how do we even know anyone actually gets out? What? You slam the skimmer into cruise control and turn to Raleigh. Seriously, what? Raleigh smiles a little, but he looks nervous, which isn't an expression you see on him a lot. Devastated, angry, righteous. He wears all of that on his sleeve, but nervous, that's not for the cameras. Never mind, it was just something I was thinking about. Not seriously. No, explain this to me. What do you mean, what if no one gets out? I'm not doing any suicide missions, Raleigh. Raleigh groans. I'm not saying they murder people or anything. I just mean, they fridged me for 3 seasons. That's been eating at me like crazy. We don't know if anyone actually gets out, right? What if they just put everyone on ice for later? No way, you say with confidence you don't feel. That doesn't make any sense. There's been over 200 cast members, minimum. No way they had facilities for long-term stasis. Well, okay, yeah, Raleigh says, but what about facilities for a few people? For, guys polling well with the fan base, for guys like you and me. You look away. You shift the skimmer back into manual to have something to do with your hands. The Fairy Cathedral looks like a white skeleton of a colossal beast. You get why I didn't want to bring it up, Raleigh says. Yeah, you say. I'm still in if you are, Raleigh says, voice very steady. This doesn't change anything. Either I'm right and we wake up and do this all over again, or I'm wrong and we wake up and get our exit paperwork from Kane, or I'm really wrong and we just don't wake up. The Fairy Cathedral ruins like they were focus tested by a team of architects. You are so fucking dramatic, Raleigh, you say, putting an extra burst of speed on so you'll get there faster. Save it for the cameras. It's not hard to remember your life before Red Render. Micro apartment, lots of part-time jobs, dwindling savings. A handful of friends you hung out with in bars and talked about life goals, significant others, how Axial Conglomerate is going to shit, etc. You miss it like crazy. You miss how the air used to smell like recycled lime cleaner. You miss instant noodles from the vending machine. You miss stocking shelves at 5 a.m. Back then, you didn't know how to throw knives or shoot a gun. You didn't run across microprinted ruins of civilizations that never existed. You didn't think about the narrative. You were just Jamie Lowe, some guy. You are still Jamie Lowe, some guy. But no one remembers Jamie Lowe. Everyone remembers Kingkiller. You get to the Fairy Cathedral ruins and unload the gear silently. You didn't talk to Raleigh for the rest of the trip, and he hasn't started any new conversation. You offer him his bag. He takes it along with the big fuck-off sword that he carries around when he's not at camp. You strap your bag on and holster your knives and rifle. The other skimmer pulls up near you. Ava waves. You wave back. You can hear the camera drones approaching like a pack of invisible flies. Hope there's not something interesting inside, you say, which is a piece of nothing dialogue, but probably good foreshadowing. Ava smiles at you. You know it. Another piece of nothing dialogue. Let's just get going, Raleigh says. Third piece of nothing dialogue and great cutscene print. The executives had insisted on a battery of psychological tests before you had joined the cast. It's standard. To see if you're a good fit, Kane had explained once when you asked him. You scored crazy high if you were wondering. What does that mean? You had asked. This was back in season 28 when you were still gunning for the 16 billion credit trophy. Means your psychology is primed to make interesting decisions at points of stress, Kane said. Sounds like you're just calling me crazy, you said, which Kane had laughed at but hadn't denied. You hadn't thought much about his answer until you started polling really well, until you started asking to be cut and started being told you were too popular to be let go. The interior of the semi-destroyed cathedral is a series of small rooms that connect to a larger nave with a staircase that leads to some sort of catacomb situation. This isn't your first cathedral or temple or monastery. Red Render is pan-religiously sacrilegious. You case the ruins cautiously. There's not much in any of the smaller rooms, no lockboxes or carved sigils or anything that hints to a map. Raleigh comes with you, of course. You're both keeping your eyes peeled for a good moment to have a fight to the death, or at least start some sort of argument. The air simmers with tension. I think these ruins are a bust. Maybe there's something in a basement, Raleigh says. There's never anything nice in the basement, you say, but dig around in your pack for a chemical torch anyway. You and Raleigh walk up to the front of the nave, clambering over big microprinted rocks and aesthetically pleasing, spiritually void, stained glass windows cracked in big shatters. Ava and Mark are climbing over from the other side. You guys find anything? Ava calls. Only the stick up Raleigh's ass, you call back, which gets a laugh from Mark and a punch from Raleigh's right fist into your shoulder. We didn't find anything either, Ava says. Looks like it's basement time, boys. Jamie and I will take a look, Raleigh says. You guys should set up and camp for the night. Don't volunteer me for things, you say, using your crowbar to lever a big chunk of marble out of the way so you and Raleigh can go single file down into the dark. You genuinely don't know why you pull so well. You're handsome, but everyone on Red Render is attractive. You're not particularly heroic, and you're not particularly evil, no matter what Raleigh castigates you for. You're kind when it's easy, but you don't cry for people. You like to think you used to be funny, but most of your good humor has been drained by 9 seasons of media indenture. You've tried being compassionate. You've tried being violent. You've tried being apathetic. No matter what you do, you still wake up on the decanting table. The basement reveals an altar in the middle of a circular chamber, in a low groove around the room that when you touch your torch to it, alights with a soft red glow. The altar is white marble. You could say a lot of things about stage sets, but you can hear the camera humming like a cloud of mosquitoes. Pretty grim, huh? You say. Raleigh examines the altar, squinting at the text carved into the surface. You survey the rest of the room. You can taste the shape of the argument you'll have with Raleigh. Something about the ethics of blood keys and sacrifice that he'll spiral into a personal attack on your character, which will turn into a physical fight. You're telling me, he says. It's a blood key. Well, yeah, I figured. For what? Map of the whole Western Hemisphere, Raleigh says, sounding legitimately odd. With artifact drop points, I've never seen one so comprehensive before. This could be a game changer. Shit. What's the catch? It's a full sacrifice blood key, Raleigh says, and he looks straight at you. You don't dare nod. This can't look premeditated. This wasn't part of the plan, but it's better than your plan. It's like the executives are handing you a new plan on a silver platter, giving you their blessing. No wonder it hasn't been plundered yet, Raleigh says softly. Well, let's change that, you say, and you pull out one of your knives and throw it at Raleigh's head. You used to think you were a nice guy. Then you shipped down to Red Render. Then you thought you were a cutthroat bastard. Then you failed to die 16 times. And these days you think maybe what you are is fun to watch on television. Raleigh ducks, but you were expecting that, so you just use the knife as a distraction to dart around the altar and behind Raleigh, slamming him down on to its surface. Whoops, missed, you say, forcing a psychopathic cheer into your voice. You planned this, what Raleigh wheezes, scrabbling for his sword. He's making a half-hearted attempt at escape, for show, but you're holding him down easier than you should. I'm doing you a favor, you stage hiss into his ear. I killed you once, Raleigh. At least this time it'll mean something. You imagine you can see the camera drones zipping around your head. Come on, Raleigh, complete the pass. Raleigh heaves you up and grabs your arm, twisting you down so your positions are reversed. You lean into the throw and snake your arm around to press the tip of your knife against his stomach. This must be a fantastic tableau. Raleigh with his sword above your chest, his arms held at bay by your loosely clenched fist. You with your dagger about to pierce his stomach, both of you lit by flickering light. You always wonder what Raleigh's like outside of Red Render. You wonder if he has friends who he talked with in bars, whether he's as nice as he pretends to be on television, whether his determinator thing is an affectation. You wonder if he worked shit jobs for shit pay and filled out the Red Render application on a whim because, hey, LARPing on a terraformed planetoid sure beats shivering in the recycled lime-scented havering air. You like the idea of seeing him in the real world, sliding into a booth at a local bar with him, having conversations about both of your shit jobs, reminiscing about the good old days as character foils. What's the matter? Can't go through with it? You say, leaning up and into the sharp slice of the sword. Raleigh keeps his gear clean. Never pegged you for a coward. You didn't have any problem dragging me down before. I don't want to kill you, Raleigh says. You don't know if he's serious about that. Is he changing the plan on you? You're so close. You don't want me to jab my knife in your kidneys, you mean? You say. You can't break character now. The camera drone hum is like a third member of the conversation. It is so loud. God damn it, Jamie. Why do you have to make everything so hard? What does that mean? Does that mean he doesn't think this is the right moment? He's not going to get a better moment. What are you waiting for? You snarl at him. You've been waiting to put me down. Now you have an excuse, a good reason. So better be quick. Gotta make it hurt. Gotta make it count. Gotta kill me in one shot. Ball's in his court now. A couple more lines of character development and you're home free. But Raleigh is silent. His pulse is still beating double time. His ventricles must be spasming manically. Your hand is starting to cramp where it's holding his arm. What are you waiting for? You say again. Hurry up and start slicing so you can return the favor. They call me King Killer for a reason, Raleigh King. We don't need to do this, Raleigh says. His voice is steady. His pulse is rabbit quick against your skin. He's breathing sharp and shallow. His pupils are pinpricks. He's scared. He wasn't scared the last time you killed him. You know Raleigh through his feigned violence, his acted anger. He knows you through your artificial indignation, your counterfeit sociopathy. You know the way fear feels on his skin. You can hear everything he's not saying. Fine, deal's off. You'll improvise. Yes, we do, you say, and drop your knife. With your other hand, you yank his arm, plunging his well-sharpened sword into your chest. The guy you pretend to be, the guy everyone calls King Killer, really isn't all that different from you. It would be too hard to keep up the act if he was. He is mostly you. He's you when all the stakes don't matter. He's you when death is cheap. The stab hurts like hell. The pain is real, a bright blossom of agony lodged in your chest. You give a soft little exhalation rather than the dramatic gasp you would have preferred. No, Jamie, Raleigh says, hindbrain instincts kicking in at the sight of what should be a mortal injury. You want to tell him to shut up and stay in character. Jamie, this wasn't a plan. What are you doing, Jamie? Sorry I tried to kill you that one time. You grind out because you're a professional. No, you're not, he says, picking up your thread because he is too. No, I'm not, you agree, and close your eyes. You can hear the camera drones whirring. Why'd you do that? He says softly. He's cradling your body against the altar. There's blood flecked on his face. It looks artistic. I told you we didn't have to. You grin at him. You hope it's bloodstained. I don't know, you lie, but it comes out weak and very far away. The shock and blood loss must be getting to you. We'll get you out, Raleigh says, steady as ever, his panic tucked away. You're not dying here. He doesn't make any attempt to move you. He knows what you want. You're pretty sure you're going to wake up on the decanting table. Maybe you'll wake up and it'll be 5 seasons later and they'll have resurrected you for the sake of the storyline. Maybe this counts as a suicide and the execs won't resurrect you at all. Maybe this is a narratively satisfying character arc and you'll be shaking hands with Kane before boarding a spaceship off planet. You're hoping for endings. You're hoping for your exit stage left. I didn't know you were scared, you say. Your vision is tunneling. The camera whines like a drill against your eardrums. Raleigh says something, but it's not audible. That's okay. You trust Raleigh King to narrate your perfect death. You hope for endings. You hope for your exit stage left. And that's all I got.
That was plenty.
That was wonderful. Thank you.
I love that. You know, it's true that there was a big change in vibe, but I would say that tonight we got 2 different stories about reality, perceptions of reality.
For sure.
And I love that. I love them both.
Yeah. Just so y'all know, we don't plan these, but something sort of thematic always emerges almost every week. You know, just program hangs together.
Yeah, we had a tiny bit of planning this week just to make sure that we could get both stories in, because Isabel wanted to read a longer story, but Jennifer was gracious, and you know, here they come. I love to just sit back and listen to them.
Thank you so much.
Even the ones I've read before always sound different when they're being read too. I love that. And we do this every week, but with different writers. Next week, we have Laura Gray and B. Zelkovich. And I do recommend checking storyhour2020.com in case of any changes. Hardly ever happens. But that's also a good place to learn about upcoming authors. So you can, set aside all your appointments, make sure that you have room on your calendar. Or you could go to the Story Hour page on Facebook afterwards and just watch the ones that you've missed.
We also have little author bios of everybody who's ever read.
There are.
Going
So
back
that can
all the
be-
way to Jump Street. So it's
That
kind
can
of
be fun too. So Jennifer Hudak, Isabel J. Kim, thank you both so much for reading your stories for us tonight. They were wonderful. Thank you to my co-host, Daniel Marcus, who brought us all here, to SIFWA for the grant that keeps us all here. And thank you to all of you who are here listening. Thank you to everybody in the Zoom, everybody on Facebook, and everybody in the future joining us in this same story hour. Good night.